Hello, I'm Stevie Gable Carr, and I will be your moderator today for the P&G Alumni Network Enrichment Series. Today, I'm very excited to welcome Waqi Munim as he's going to be sharing how to lead courageously. Before we get started in that, I'd love to share a little bit about the Enrichment Series. This is a monthly series that aims to connect members, provide insight and learning for you, as well as leveraging the expertise of our amazing and vast network. We are a nonprofit founded by former P&Gers, but have created an incredible network of over 35,000 members, 45 chapters worldwide, and are officially recognized and supported by P&G. We have pillars of connection, enrichment, and philanthropy. And we are so thrilled to be able to gather on a biannual basis this year that will be happening in Washington, D.C. On November 2nd and 5th, you will be able to connect with fellow alumni for Meeting the Moment. And the incredible opportunity here is that you can connect with individuals, share your expertise, network, but truly invest in yourself. And that's what I'm the most excited about. Make sure that you check out pgalums.com. If you're not registered, make sure that you do that and that you encourage others to join you. It's very rare that, especially in a post-COVID world, we have the opportunity to just be able to connect with one another in this way. And I highly encourage that you explore different opportunities to join us in November. So a little bit about this, we are on a webinar platform. So if you have any questions, make sure that you put them into the chat or you can put it into Q&A, and I will be moderating those questions in order to do my best to bring them back to the presenter. We have a few poll questions that we like to start with, so that way we can get an idea of who all's joining and making sure that we're staying in touch with the network and understanding who is, interested in different topics so we can best serve you. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on these. If you wouldn't mind, I'm going to launch the first one. So the first one is, are you a part of a local P&G alumni network? If you wouldn't mind answering that for us. All right. Looks like we have a healthy amount of people who are. If you are not, make sure that you register online and you can find more information about how to connect with the chapter. If not, I'll make sure I put my email in here and I will connect you with the right person. So let's go back to, what part of the world do you currently reside in? Okay, let's see. Okay, so we've got a very good mix of Asia, Europe, Latin America, and North America, about pretty even. That's going to be pretty dang. Let's see, we've got all right. Your primary occupation. Okay. I love this one because I love to see who all's on. And it looks like we've got a really healthy mix of entrepreneurs, full-time employed, and retired. Okay, two more, and then we'll move into the meat of this, the industry that you are in. All right, CPG. Where are our finance people at? Come on. Nonprofits and other. And then this very last one, functional expertise. All right, a lot of commercial sales and marketing HR, a little bit of finance. Thank you for responding there, finance folks. HR, engineering, and logistics and other. Perfect. Thank you for indulging me in that that poll that really helps us understand how to better serve you. So I am so thrilled. I'm also frozen, so I'm gonna try to come back here. There we go. I am so thrilled to dive into the meat of the conversation with Waqi. This is going to be an incredible opportunity for you to learn more about your own personal journey with courage and understanding from a leader who has served in an entrepreneur capacity, has served in a capacity of being able to support others at the highest levels of P&G, as well as being able to be an author and serve so many thousands of people across the world with his words of wisdom. So Waqi, thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm thrilled to dive into the conversation.
Thank you so much, Steffi, and thank you all the people who have joined this particular webinar. And it's such a pleasure to be speaking to the alumni of P&G, my alma mater, where I spent about 25 years in different capacities around the world. So the topic of discussion today is leading with courage. Now, before jumping into the subject, I want to talk about the things which are most important to me, which are on the slide. The two pictures on the top left and right are my parents who have passed away. May God bless their souls. Then the next one from the left is of P&G Arabian Peninsula in Jeddah, where I'm in the Sukhasana pose, which is yoga pose. And then underneath it were four most important ladies in my life, my two daughters, my mother, and my wife. So I'm in that. On the right side, it's like yoga, which I practice every day, and I'm in a peacock pose. Underneath it is a picture with my wife in the US, Cincinnati. And then underneath it is the picture of the launch of my latest book, Inner Conversations, which happened last year in Dubai. Then cricket, which has been my childhood first crush, as I would say, and it still is like very, very important for me in my life. And the next picture is the launch of Courageous Minds, my company, my consultancy. And on the right side, underneath my mom's picture is my passion, which is to sing. Now, I'm not a good singer, but I love to sing whenever I get an opportunity. And that is every month, you know, I make sure that I get that. On a, what is this? Okay. On a career highlights, like I have 25 years of experience at P&G, worked in various local, category, regional, and global CFO roles, lived in 10 countries, 5 geographies, P&G geographies, and 15 physical relocations, because there were 3 places where I moved twice. Right? After P&G, I joined a German company in Munich, which was ProSiebenSat.1. I worked there for 1.5 years. And after that, I became an entrepreneur, founded my own consultancy, financial consultancy, Courageous Minds. And I'm an angel investor at Monkey, which is my daughter's company. It's a marketing agency, and they're doing very, very well. It makes me very proud. And now I'm in the process of commencing a new fintech startup by the name of Growth Lab. So that's about me. Now let's dive into the subject of leading with courage with the help of a story. Flashback, it is May 29th, 2004. I'm the CFO of Arabian Peninsula and Pakistan, based out of Jeddah. The news is coming in that there is a terrorist attack on a compound in Hoover. Now, just for perspective, Hoover or Dammam, or some people will call it, these are twin cities, okay, in Saudi Arabia, and they're on the east coast of Saudi, whereas Jeddah is on the west coast. News was coming in, and P&G has one of the biggest shampoo and detergent manufacturing plant in Dammam, right? So we have a lot of people over there working. We were following up on our people to see how they are, and also following up on the activities that the government was doing in protecting the people. At that point, I received a phone call from one of my team members who was the plant finance manager at the plant. And he told me that he, along with his family, which is his wife and his young child, are seeking refuge inside a wardrobe of their house, and they can hear the steps of people outside the house. Now, it was one of the most scariest phone calls I have ever received in my life. And there was a feeling of like, no powerlessness, because I couldn't do anything. I was 1,400 kilometers away. And even if I was there, what can you do? And I asked him that he should switch off his phone, because he should make sure that no one should be able to hear that where they are taking the refuge. Now, luckily, the government did a lot of great effort in clearing the compound. The commandos went in there, and none of the PNG people got hurt, but 22 other foreigners were not as lucky, as they lost their lives over there. At that time, PNG did what it does always best, which is to come in and rescue its people, to help them. So I, along with a number of other people, flew into Dammam. We were with the people. We sent some of the expatriates we had to repatriate them, so that they can come out of the trauma of this particular experience and take a few days off. And we did the closing from Dammam for that particular month. It was a time when, these are the situations which come to you, and then you have to brave it, and you have to muster all your courage to be with the people, stand with them, and to face the brunt of it. So that's a part of courage, right? This is one courage, where you're faced with a situation which is really, really life-threatening, and you have to do something about it. Second story I want to share is when I moved to Dubai from Geneva. Our penthouse was under some construction or whatever, so we were living in a hotel, and in a hotel there was a bellboy. He used to be an amazing person. He would, whenever he would see me or other guests, he would be so happy. He would jump out and he would ask us how we are feeling and how things are with us. So one day when I was waiting for my car, I asked this guy that, how come you are so happy all the time? Is it like this? You are like this? And what is it that makes you so happy? So he told me, no, I'm not always happy. And when I'm alone at my place, I also am, I have my own fears, my apprehensions in life. But when I'm at the hotel, I want to make sure that I take the pressure and the stresses of my clients. What a beautiful thinking, right? So I asked him that, okay, tell me a little bit about your story. And he said that he used to be a chemistry professor in the University of Kathmandu in Nepal. And in 2015, earthquake, he lost everything, including his job. The option was to lament the loss that he has, or to resurrect his life again. And what he did was he flew into Dubai, where, of course, dirham is much more powerful than the Nepalese rupee. And he started his life as a bellboy. Over the years, I've been following him, and he's doing very well. He's back, and he's a professor again. But the point here is how life will dish out its challenges. It will throw its bricks at you. But what do you do with your life is the most important thing. And this person, for me, is a true hero who was able to resurrect his life despite all the challenges. And he didn't worry about being a bellboy, because at that time, he wanted to just provide for his family. Now, these are two examples of extreme situations, and situation has been doled on, and then people have to act. But I think the biggest or the best type of courage is the one when you are alone to yourself and you're switching off the lights to sleep, and all your gremlins come out, all your fears, all your apprehensions, all your anxieties are playing in your mind, the negative thoughts that you shouldn't be doing this, or this will happen. If you fall sick, what will happen? If you lose the job, what will happen? If your child is coming up for education, if you have a problem, would you be able to provide for that? And having all those challenges which are coming to your mind, and you have the courage to accept those fears, but to continue to progress in living and creating an oasis around yourself, and creating and going after the goals that you want to pursue. That, for me, is the greatest example of courage, to overcome your own fears, right? So here are the 5 lessons on courageous leadership that I have learned over my, if I think about it, like 55 years of life and 33 years of corporate experience in different ways, right? First lesson is challenge limiting paradigms. So limiting paradigm is simply the way you look at things, which is based upon your education, experience, culture, what you have seen in your life. So all those things form paradigms. And limiting paradigms example could be, I'm too old to start a new venture, right? We have all heard such thing. Though we know that there are people like Colonel Sanders of Kentucky Fried Chicken, who started a company which is billions of dollars worth at the age of 65. Imagine, right? So other examples of limiting paradigms could be, I don't have the money or the resources. I don't have enough time. It's too difficult. I'm maybe not from the right country or whatever. I may not get the opportunities. So there can be so many limiting paradigms, but the important thing is how we can overcome those paradigms to achieve the things that we want. Now, it's all here in the mind. And let me explain it with another story. In circuses, baby elephants are trained by putting their feet, tying the feet to shackles, strong shackles. Minute by minute, hour after hour, the baby elephant tries to break free of the shackles, but is unsuccessful. Over time, it starts to believe that these shackles can never be broken. A false paradigm is formed. Over the years, when the baby elephant turns into a 50,000-pound adult elephant who could bring down the entire circus, it doesn't try to break the shackles. Even the circus people put a thinner chain on its feet, because the chain in its mind are stronger than the chains in its feet. So this is what happens with us. All these limiting paradigms are like glass walls. They keep resurrecting the more we start to believe in these limiting paradigms. And over time, they become smaller and smaller, getting us fixated into the box of limitations, right? So that's one thing. The other thing I would say is, like, if I give you another story, it's a fictitious one, but it talks about the power of the mind. There was a guy, he was walking through the forest. So as the night came in, he said that I'm going to take a rest. So he rested underneath a tree with very cushiony grass. And that tree happened to be a magical tree. So he was thinking that, wouldn't it be great? I'm so hungry. I've been walking all day. If I had food. And lo and behold, food appeared for him. It was a magical tree. Then he said, wouldn't it be great to have some drinks to go with it? And then the drinks appeared. He said, I have enough to eat. I have amazing drinks. It would be great to have some entertainment. And lo and behold, there was entertainment for him. That at that particular point in time, a thought passed through his mind that whatever I am thinking of is manifesting into a reality. Maybe there are ghosts here. And what happens? Ghosts appear. Then he thinks that, oh, there are ghosts. They might eat me. He was eaten. Now, there are no magical trees and no magical forest which have been cut, and you have concrete jungle everywhere. But the point is that we have the magical organ in our body, which is the mind. And how we play with it determines how our future is going to be, or how our present is. Forget about the future even, or how the present is going to be. So it's very, very important that we overcome our limiting paradigms. So we talked about the elephants, we talked about this, and I'll tell you another story of my own life. So I was, at the time when I left P&G, this was 2015, and I joined ProSieben Zartan in Munich. And after 1.5 years, I also left ProSieben. At that time, the easier thing was, because I was 46-year-old at that time, the easier thing was that, join another big corporate in Europe or in the US and continue working over there. But because I had done nothing other than, like after doing my MBA, P&G was my first job. And for 25 years, I had known nothing. Even I learned my computers, because I'm from the time I joined was in 1990. Computers were just coming in, like and they were not in this form. There was not even emails. It used to be Iron PC in those days, right? So I had seen nothing else, and then ProSieben, of course. So I said I wanted to do something, like a lot of people think about it. I said, I want to do something different, but I did not know what is the different thing to be done. And first I took a bit of a sabbatical, enjoyed the Lake Geneva and the places over there, the mountains, did a lot of walking, hiking. And then a thought came to my mind that what has been the most important thing that has stayed with me throughout my life? And the word immediately came in, and even my wife defined the same, and my children and my friends, they said courage. Okay, so I said, yes. So I need to do something which is the message of courage to the people. And that's how I came up with Courageous Minds as the name of my consultancy. And I believe that not only me, but even 1,000 times more capable person, Aristotle, he said that the basic skill on which all of the skills or attributes are built is courage. So that's what is most important. When I was moving to, at the time when I started Courageous Mind, it was a financial consultancy along with strategy. But I had the big problem, I don't speak French. So in Geneva, that was not a very healthy thing. So I decided to relocate to Dubai. It seemed like the best place to be there because of the tax reasons as well. And I moved over there. And this was a time when I had, my daughters were in, one was in LCF, London College of Fashion, and the other one was completing her IB. It was, from a financial point of view, it was the most pressing time. But, there's never a good time to do anything that you want to do. You have to have the intentionality, and then you go after it. And then somehow nature, God, whatever you want to call, helps you in achieving your goals. And things have worked out since then. And the best thing that has happened is that after graduation, my daughter started the company's marketing agency, which has been very successful. So the point is that in this one is fears, many days where I would really be fearful, like what will happen, right? But you continue to going, overcome your fears and continue moving in the direction, and you'll reach the right destination. There's no destination, but you can continue doing it. And one thing which has enabled me is like, after seeing some of, and of course it's easier to talk here, but you go through, you have a lot of bruises to show in your journey, right, of your life. But that also gives you the confidence that, when things go bad, it's not that bad. I have survived that many times. So why should it be a problem for the future? We can combine, you can, strive to do better and overcome those challenges to achieve greater things in life. So that's an important message that I want to convey. Two other pictures, my favorite one is breaking the box of limitations. Whenever you see that you are boiling like a frog, which is like you're not seeing or, a growth in your career, rock your boat, break your paradigms, move out of it. Like a lot of people tell me like, yeah, it's okay, I will continue that job because it provides me, money which is needed for certain things. Yeah, that's a choice. It's a good thing. But if you're not learning, then you're boiling like a frog. Your trajectory of capability is going lower. And if the value that you create for the company for which you get the money is also reducing. And it's a very simple equation. The company pays the people for the value they create for the company. And the higher the value they create, the higher positions a person gets in their life. And if you're not creating the value because it's boiling like a frog, then it's just some time before which there will be a restructuring, or the person gets into 2-3 rating or whatever it is, and then we'll have to face the consequences. So it's important to break these shackles. And the second picture is from Stard. I really liked this particular sculpture which was made, and I came up with this thought that we are bigger than our biggest fears. So that's lesson number 1, break your limiting paradigms. Number 2 is expand the frame of thinking. And this lesson, to explain it a bit more, I would start with an inspiring story of this gentleman who is Kerolai Takas. He was the sergeant in Hungarian army. He was born in 1910, and by 1936, he was an accomplished 25-meter rapid fire pistol champion. And he was unable to participate in the 1936 Olympics because at that time, sergeants were not allowed to participate into Olympics. Only commissioned officers were allowed to participate. After the Berlin Olympics of 1936, that restriction was eliminated, and people were thinking that Kerala is going to win the championship. In 1938, he was diffusing a grenade, and it blew up in his hand. So his right hand, with which he used to do the pistol shooting, it was blown away. So it seemed like a very sad story and a sad end to a great flourishing career of achievement. In 1939, there was a championship, the 25-meter rapid pistol fire tournament in Hungary. So Tiarulai Taka appeared over there. So his friends told him that it's so nice of him that he's present over there for encouraging them. He told them that I'm not here to encourage you, I'm here to participate. He said, how are you going to participate? Your right hand is blown. He said, no, I'm going to do it with my left hand. And he won that championship, and he won the regional championships as well. And now and again, there was like people who started to say that he's going to win the 1940 Olympics, but 1940 and 44 Olympics were canceled because of World War II. He continued practicing in 1948 in the Summer Olympics in UK, London. He won his first gold medal, and then again in Helsinki in 1952. Now, the aspect of the story which I want to point towards is not the usual perseverance that the guy had, but the changing of his frame of thinking to achieve the objective. So the goal was winning the Olympic medal. His right hand was with which he used to do the shooting, meaning like his left part of the brain was hugely developed, and which enabled the dexterity in his right hand. When that was severed, he started practicing with his left hand. He developed the same capability with his left hand to win 2 gold medals. So it's the point is expanding the frame of thinking, right? To explain it more, let's assume that you purchase a beautiful, beautiful painting, right? And then you order for a frame, but it so happens that the frame is smaller than the picture. What will happen? It's not going to look very nice. Whatever you do, you squish the picture, but it won't help. However, if the frame is of the right size, the picture will look beautiful. Likewise, if we have a fixed frame of thinking, which is based upon our old experiences of what has worked in the past, of the way we look at things, and we apply the old solutions to new issues which may have changed, what will it lead to? Stress, inferior results, and anxiety. We have all heard, many years, I've worked in the company, and many people will say, yeah, I've tried this in the past, it doesn't work, or apply this. In meetings you're sitting in where people will sometimes, as soon as the question is asked, they start answering, because this is how we are trained in our schools. That's how you get the grades, if you answer first. But in life, there are no fixed answers. There are no right answers at all. As a particular answer may work in one situation, and it may not work in another situation. Otherwise, why would we see some of the most powerful companies doing well one time and not doing another time, right? So it's because of the fixed frame of thinking. And I see that many successful people, after a particular time, they don't do as well. And why is that? Because they believe so much. So there is a paradigm that they believe that you have to apply this solution to a problem which happens, because mind is like a recording machine, and it finds the most logical and the easiest solution for you, right? So it doesn't cause you pain to think too hard. And that fixed frame of thinking leads to the issues that we have in our business and also in our life. So what we need to do. So we need to have a flexible frame of thinking to expand the frame of thinking. How do we do this? We don't go just with what has worked in the past. We ask critical questions. One of the most important things is asking critical questions. It's not about answers. It's about asking the right questions. And if you can frame the question in the best possible way, you're going to get your 90% there in finding good solution. Identifying, not having all the resources, but being resourceful, which is different, is like identifying the people who can have the solution, get the data from different people, use a data-based approach to think of like new possibilities instead of being limited to whatever is there. And then take objective risk. When you believe in something, be data-based, take the risk. And that will lead to superior results, achievement, and satisfaction. So second important thing is expanding the frame of thinking, right? The third key lesson of courage is become valuable. Now, one of the greatest personal development guru who was from the US, his name is Jim Rohn. He has passed away now. He said something amazing. He said that your personal wealth is directly proportional to the value you create for others. Okay, I'll repeat it again. Your personal wealth is directly proportional to the value you create for others. So the more valuable you are, the more value you create for others. And they will be able to pay you a lot of money because of the value you're creating for them. And that's where you generate your wealth. What a great thought. But a lot of the people I see are more focused on, they will say, oh, I was working till 2 o'clock in the morning, and as if like, the business is done by the time spent. Otherwise, you can have everyone sit in the old time, punch the machine at this time and leave late, and then the company will do well. No, it won't work that way. It will work when people, the entire organization is becoming more and more valuable, and it is increasing its own skills, which can be in any area. And they're becoming so strong that they are better than any other company. And that's where you start to get phenomenal results for the individual as well as for the company. The other important point I would make under this is like create wind under your wings. And what I'm saying here is that when you start your career or any flight that you take in your career, it is based on courage, it is based on confidence, it's based upon your mastery, technical mastery, and that takes you high. You're doing well. But in any career, there'll be one or several times that will happen that you start to feel that the wind under your wings is fleeting, and you start to go down, and you are unable to achieve the heights that you want. At that particular point, it is the courage and your belief in yourself which enables you to swing your wings so hard, flutter your wings so hard that you create your own steam or own wind to go to achieve great heights. So it's again, and that will happen if you are creating value for this. You're creating value for your own self. If you're taking care of your own self, your body, your mind, your wellness, and then you're also taking care of the people who mean the world to you. And also your capabilities are becoming greater and greater, that you're sought for your skills that you have. So it's really important. But as a practical advice, that how can one become, because it's easy to say in terms of technical mastery, okay? But what is it, how would you say it for other aspects of life? And I think that the way to go about it is to develop healthy rituals in your life. And rituals, as you all know, are different from habits. Habits are things that you do for the act itself, like smoking is done because people get habituated to it. On the other side, a ritual is done for a bigger benefit, not for the act itself. Example, meditation, exercise, dieting. You don't do it because of the act itself, but you do it for healthy purposes. Now, in my last book, Inner Conversations, I had put in a few rituals which I practice regularly, and I found them to be very helpful for me. And you have to discover for your own self what are the rituals that can be of help to you. In this, I have like critical thinking, which is like asking the questions, going more deeper into why, and not just jumping into conclusions or ready-made answers, but really thinking about things. Second is attitude of gratitude. No one has achieved anything in the life without the support of other people. So you have to be all the time in gratitude of God for giving you life, gratitude to the parents who have raised you, gratitude to the people who supported you, your teachers, your friends, your colleagues, and one has to have the gratitude and total attitude of gratitude. It's very important. People sometimes forget this, but I really think it's very important to offer gratitude, to say thank you to the people if they have offered something of value to you. The next point is, I have coined this term, I call it zapper and sapper, right? So what is zapper and sapper? Zapper are people whom you meet, and after meeting them, they inspire you, they give you so much energy that you feel that you're the best thing after the discovery of sliced bread. You're like amazing. You can achieve anything in your life. And a sapper are people, after meeting them, you ask the question like, really, why was I born? What is the purpose of living? So I really love to be with the zappers, and you want to be zappers because that's the people you want to be associated with. So why don't you become a zapper for the people? There are many people who say like, oh, this life, it's a very difficult place and all these issues and all. And then there are people who will tell you, listen, despite these, we can achieve the things. And you want to be with those people who can give you the energy, the drive, the inspiration, the motivation to do things, right? The next is very important ritual is emotional hygiene. Just like the physical hygiene, you take care of shower, you take care of your hair, your body, and everything, and even get your key indicators tested. Likewise, it's as important to understand our emotions. How are we feeling, right? What are the things which causes us stress? Why do we get negative thoughts? What triggers it? And how we can keep a mind calm. That's important. That's very, very important, a ritual. Then having the mindset of possibilities, limitations, this sadly, we keep hearing in the news and others, the bad news, and we become like worried all the time, so that the great power of the mind is not unleashed in finding new possibilities for achieving more. And when I say more, it's not material things, it's everything. Living big with like having great relationships, having great health, great life, all those things, the way you define it, so that we have the great experience of living the life. At the end of the day, you're a billionaire or a pauper, you die as much, right? So there's no difference. But the experience is like whatever life you have, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. But that life at the end, when you're about to die, you look back at it and say, you know what? I had a great time. I really enjoyed it. And I can have this again, right? That is what it's all about. And that will happen if you have the mindset of possibilities. Another one is social connections. There was a study that was done. The blue areas, the ones which have you have the highest number of octogenarians, which is the people above the age of 80, which is one in California, there's in Japan, there is in Greece, and so on. What they found was that it's not about the Mediterranean diet or something. They were like way down. The number one driver of longevity was the social connections and social support network that the people had. That was the one which enabled the people to become octogenarians, right? And finally, we all know exercise, diet, and meditation. I don't want to put much time. So you need to find for yourself, what are the daily rituals that you need to do to get into the zone of performance, into the peak performance, because without having the mind in a certain place, you cannot achieve into the zone of performance. Just by working, it doesn't happen. You have to have certain rituals which give you the energy so that you are able to perform well on your work, whatever your business, job, or whatever, and also in your personal relationships, right? You need, if your mind is already occupied, you would not be able to provide the time that is needed by children or the energy that they require, right? Now let's move to the second last, which is financial freedom. Now, one of the biggest challenges in courageous leadership is people are scared. People are scared because they say, what if I lose the job? What if my business turns negative? Will I be able to put food for my family? Will I be able to, afford the education to send my child to the best university? I don't know, whichever you want to say, Berkeley, Stanford, Harvard, whatever. And what will happen to me if I fall ill? Will I have enough support to last me through it? Those type of things are taken care of if you have financial freedom. Financial freedom is not about having just the money, but financial freedom is all about having the time to do the things that you want to do. And that will always happen when you have created wealth and you have invested very well. Now, of course, there is never enough. We all know this. There's never enough. People will say a number that, they used to go in P&G also, that if you reach this number, then, if you retire, you will be able to do it now. That again is a paradigm. It's a paradigm because that was based upon a situation post-COVID with the inflation that has happened in the market. I think that number is wrong, long, you can even scrap it with what is happening around the world. And inflation has been like in certain countries like Turkey, it's above 75%, which has been brought now down to like 50%. So even in Europe, it was surprising that after years of deflation, it was at 10%. It's like unbelievable. In US, was it what, 7%? And then they have brought it down to less than 5, I think. They want to get it to 2, but still, and you'd see the rise of interest rates. So 2 elements which are very, very important, and the earlier you start is better. Creating wealth, you know that you can create wealth with salary or with, you can have it your own business, profit. And 2 things where you don't have much of a control, but still, like the first one where you get inheritance or you're born rich. And the second option is you marry rich also. That can also be very, it can give you a lot of money. But most of the people they will provide their skills, their capabilities for value creation, which is through salary or through business. And then the second big part within it is how do you invest to generate the income? And for that, we need really great financial acumen, true understanding. The old days of like going to the bank and telling them that, okay, let's make a well-rounded portfolio with diversification, and it's gone. Really, like I don't think so that's going to work. There's so much volatility, there's so much changes that are happening. You really need to develop good financial knowledge to really think about it, how you're going to manage your money in these times. And you cannot let it be left to someone else to take care of it on your behalf, right? Though you can say that, okay, these are experts, but believe me, the RMs that we deal with, not all of them are experts, and they're being replaced. Many are replaced by AI. The new AI, I trust it more. It's like, it's amazing from the way it can generate, the data, and it can look through so many different data points and provide its perspective. Now, one other interesting thing I'll tell you, like, is a friend of mine who also talks about this area of financial freedom. And he was telling me that, Waqi, what is important is diversification. So I asked this person, like, tell me, what portion of your wealth did you make from P&G? And the person said 95%. I said, I rest my case. So much of diversification. All your money is from your stock options from one company, Procter & Gamble. And you're talking about diversification. I think diversification, okay, from logic, from theory, it's a good thing that you say, okay, I'm indifferent. So if the market goes down, some things, gold may be up when the stocks are going down, or I have bonds in the case that, the interest rates are going down. So in that case, the prices will be up, or, whatever you want to have, or like, the things. But there are different other ways. You can also hedge your position. So what I'm saying is that there are different theories, but unless you develop your own perspective on different ways of investing and try and really understand whatever, if you are expert in understanding a few companies, 2 companies, then just invest in those 2 companies. Even a Warren Buffett, look at his portfolio, it's not that big. His major positions are Berkshire Hathaway, and then there are a few others. You look at Charlie Munger, his friend, they will have the same. So then there are other people like Ray Dalio. I can understand that he has like this all-weather portfolio and other things. But my point is, whatever you do, develop financial acumen, right? And a good one, so that you can participate actively in taking care of your hard-earned money, which can generate for you returns over the future. So that was point number 4. Lesson number 5 is cranking up innovation. Now, there was a McKinsey study that shows that companies that spend on innovation do 10% better in crisis and 30% better post-crisis, right? So there's a clear case of importance of innovation. And, courage, leadership is also linked to innovation, because innovation is moving into the unknown, into something that we don't know what will happen, right? Imagine Elon Musk, when he came up with the idea of EV, when there was no EVs there, right? Or the people who started the e-commerce for the first time, the digitization process. But over the period of time, by staying with it, taking the risk, facing the resistance, finding the solutions, they are the ones who have been rewarded the most. I tell you, like, it was really surprising when I looked at it that out of the top 9 US companies, 7, and if I say like, okay, Apple was in 1980, but most of them have started from 1990 onwards. It's unbelievable in terms of capitalization. If you look at it, if you look at Apple was in 1980. So you say, okay, by 1990, there were 5 billion. So that's an exception. Google, 1998, Facebook, 2004, Tesla, 2003, Amazon, 1994, NVIDIA, 1993. So look at it. These are the biggest companies in the world. And there have been companies such as, like, even our Procter & Gamble, 150 years old. But you see, these companies have come in like 30 years, less than 30 years or 30 years. And they have been like now the biggest in terms of market capitalization company, like Apple, which is Used to be 3 trillion, now it is 2.8 trillion. What it means is that it is nearly 3 times the economy of UAE. And, and about like 15 times or 12 to 15 times the economy of Pakistan. That's Apple alone. That's about 100,000 people are more productive than 240 million people. Imagine what can be done through innovation, creativity, and productivity. So there's no time you can say that it takes time, it takes hundreds of years. No, those times are over. It's going to be fast. AI is coming in. You see companies doing so well. Like even without AI, during the COVID period, Zoom shares, they tripled, right? And now they're back, of course. But those people who must have bought it at the right time and sold it at the right time, they must be laughing themselves to the bank. So innovation is key for leading with courage. So now just a conclusion. The conclusion one is uncertainty is the norm. Now, since even in my career of like 33 years, I have seen the challenges, so many challenges, like Asian crisis, Turkish lira and economy crisis, the COVID-19, before that, the Black Friday, you talk about the Russian ruble crisis, the 2007 and 8 financial crisis. And this new crisis is not the last time that we are seeing crisis. There's going to be another one, and after that, another one, and then another one, right? So what we need is courageous leadership to navigate through it. It's all about here, our mind, to keep it, to keep the apprehensions, the anxieties, the challenges, the fears that are coming in, keep them out, and you have your own plan and work on the plan. That may take a little bit time, but you will be able to do that. Second is exercise the mind more than the body and serve it with vitamins of inspiration, calmness, and courage. That's very important. A lot of people take care of their bodies. Of course, we all want to have summer bodies and we exercise, but I think one should exercise the mind more. It's very, very important to do that, right? And keep yourself in the company of zappers who can really continue to inspire you. Focus on financial independence to free up time for doing the things you like. I tell you, I left corporate world like actively as an employee when I was only 46-year-old, 45, 46, right? And I don't have any history of like my family being entrepreneurs or whatever. They're all working in global multinationals. So for me, it was a different thing. And now the next generation, which is my daughters, they didn't work for any company. They created their own company. But what I'm saying is that was help because there's a financial independence. Otherwise, I would also go and work for a company to make sure that I am able to provide for the family. So you need to have certain level of financial independence to go and venture into things that you want to do, right? And next one is invest in building own value. Take the time, read all the new books, read the new technology. What is happening on AI? How will it make the jobs redundant? How can I use the AI to be at the leading edge of this new, change that is about to come and lead the change? How can I really become better than I was before? How can I be better speaker, better writer, better at anything that you do, right? And last is, which is very important, is make a life, not just a career. I don't think so. There are a lot of people who are like completely consumed with career. It takes me 3 years to become group manager and 8 years AD, and then I should be by 9 director. Then I should be, and I'm using the old, hierarchy where now the director is vice president, and then how much would be senior vice president and president and whatever. People are consumed with this. I personally think that it's more important to have a life meaning like you have your family, your passion, because we have only like, and believe me, life passes very fast. It seems like just yesterday I was in university and I'm now 55-year-old. It's unbelievable. It just went in, the time just passed by so fast. So you cannot live by saying, when I reach this, I will do that. Just do whatever you want to do now. I feel like singing, I go and sing. I want to write, I have written 3 books. You do it, finished. Many things have not worked. What difference does it make, right? As long as you're protecting your base financials, right? The other one, then you can go in and have an expression that you want to express the life so that you're painting on the canvas of life your own colors. That's what is important. So with that, I want to thank you, and I'm open to questions.
Yeah, so if you want to go ahead and place questions into the chat or into Q&A, I can go ahead and answer those. I'll just kick off with the first question that I had. I was taking so many notes and just soaking up all the words of wisdom from you. As a person who grew up in PNG and was rewarded for parallel pathing 18 different options at the same time, right? And knowing like, if this doesn't work, then I'm going to go do this, and kind of, I'm curious as to your perspective on contingency plans. And, we talk a lot about being willing to fail and pivot and try things, but there's a lot of energy that goes into planning to fail. And I'd love to know how courage kind of comes into that conversation. And do you also parallel path, 18 different routes for things when you dive into a new endeavor?
Yeah, I tell you one thing, if you have too many paths, you're sure to fail.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always believe that. You should have the people who succeed are the ones who have just one idea. They don't have more ideas, and they persevere to make that idea work. And that's what really, when you have no other option, that's the only option. That's when all your creative juices start flowing, and you do the best. And I try to use it like, think of one thing, but I will just say that before you venture into anything, please focus on to your financial stability. Make sure that if you're starting something, you have at least 48 months of reserve, that it should not affect your life, right? And that is one thing. After that, it becomes like, who knows what will happen? Even if you have 10 contingency plans, you have plan B, plan C. I've also seen this, even in PNG, plan B, plan C, plan D.
Yep.
If it has to go, it just goes through, down, and you have to have a revision of the forecast. But my point is that stick to one plan only. You say, I have to do this, and what would it take? Let's put all the brains together, the smartest brains, to find out like how we are going to achieve that. What would it take to get it, and what would it take to make it even bigger and better? I think that's what I've been going after that. And I tell you, like, for every success I have achieved, whatever little in my life, I have faced at least 5 failures, as they would call it, but I would call it learnings, 5 learnings. 5 learnings for every one success, but that success becomes big enough to cover not only for those 5 learnings, but you can even have even more learnings, right? So that is what I think it's important. It's like all the rest is a philosophy. People will make it. You can write a book about this, but really in life, we are at a place which is the best for us. Why would I say this? Otherwise, why would you be in that position?
Yeah, no,
It's
I think that
the choices that you have made, which has brought you over there. And these were the best choices that you were making.
Yeah, I think that that's the part of, you said something in the beginning, courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear, right? Courage is doing it with the fear and kind of having it by you. I think that there's a question, more of a comment in the chat about the financial portion. And I think that understanding that, there's so much about the basics of financial wellness and investing in yourself, right? So I have a question just based off of, from a financial perspective, and you and I spoke a little bit about this, is that, your money should be making you should be focused on income, right? Not just investing. And so you and I talked a little bit about real estate yesterday and how, different choices along the way that you make. What would you say to someone who maybe, and I wanted to make sure I got the number right. Did you say 4 to 8 months reserved or 48 months reserved?
48.
That's what I thought you said. Yep. So a person who does not have 48 months reserve, but would like to start to generate a second revenue, form of revenue or income stream, are there different things that you might recommend to someone that they could start to be courageous in some aspects instead of, and I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, because let me clarify one thing. I didn't say 48 months to do another passive stream of income. No.
Mhm.
I'm saying that if you're doing completely something different, you're going
Got
into an area which like I did it, like I was doing jobs and then I started into consultancy. And initially I thought instead of financial consultancy, I thought about motivational speaking. Of course, that was an idea which was in my head, but it wasn't, something for which people wanted to pay me. They wanted to pay me for financial expertise. And that's what I realized. Luckily, I realized it quickly. But my point is that if you're doing something dramatically different, that's where I was saying. But
Got it.
intelligent people already start, like when you're getting your bonuses, and if you're young, start investing in any ETF, buying any real estate. Right now, it's a little bit, I don't know, like I know that the property prices have gone down in the US, so maybe a good idea to do it. On the other side, the mortgage rates are higher. So it has to be like, everything has to be worked out in terms of the numbers. I don't have the numbers in front of me to do
Got
that.
it.
You should start thinking very early about how you're going to increase your passive incomes. You're getting it from real estate, you're getting it from something else. And over time, then they can build in. The more time you have, or just forget about anything and put it into Dow Jones Industrial Average. Okay.
Yeah.
Over a period of time, if you have 20 years, you'll be rich. Very rich, right?
Yes.
Or if someone would have invested in, say, in 1990 in Apple, I tell you, they will be billionaires. People who did it initially in Bitcoins are billionaires, right? So keep it in two parts. One is if you're doing something dramatically different, where you don't know what is going to be. For uncertainty, I was saying that you need to have a protection so that your focus doesn't move from your goals, because you think that how will I be able to put food and how will I fund for my children and others. So that take care of that and then do it. On the other side, always look at opportunities. If if for investing, to start getting the passive, and you're never late to invest, never late. There will always be opportunities and you can find those. So I hope I have answered that. So
I love that. I love that you're never late. And I know that there's, you always hear that, but I think that you're right, that just making decisions that are right for you in this moment, but also considering this idea that you want to have life in your life, right? Like, what is all of this in service of? The money is energy, and the money is a tool to get you to the other things. And I think that that's, my big takeaway on this today is, being courageous, especially in such a fear-based society the last decade, I would say maybe longer. But this courage is really a tool to unlock so many things in our lives, and the way that we can, it's a philosophy, right, of doing it, and with intentionality and with purpose. So I'm so grateful for your time today. We're getting a lot of really fantastic feedback in the chat. So I could not be more grateful for your time here today. I went ahead and put the links to all of Waqi's books into the chat. So if you have any interest in purchasing those, we'll also make sure that those are in the YouTube comments as well, directly for purchase. Thank you so much.
And I would also, Stevie, just one other point. For any of the people, if they want to have some have thoughts, share those with me. If they want to have a Zoom call later or whatever, if they have some ideas, I would be more than happy to engage with my alma mater's, alumni, and talk, because one of the greatest thing is learning from each other.
Yes.
It's really, really important, from vicariously through other people's experience. And I really want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to the great P&G people. And I'm very, very delighted that I got this opportunity. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. And for everybody who is tuning in, make sure that you check out more on our upcoming webinars. We have another one in September that's going to be coming up fast, as well as checking out the P&G Alumni Network Global Conference in November. Make sure you check out our website to learn more about registration. Rooms are going fast and spots are going fast. It's going to be sure to be an incredible experience. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.